What's going on, everybody? So, before the release of One Battle After Another, I was rewatching a lot of PTA's films in preparation for it, and watched the only two that I had yet to see up until that point. So now, with the release of One Battle After Another, I figured what better time than now to do a Paul Thomas Anderson ranking video. Now, just to preface this ranking, I adore PTA. He is one of my favorite filmmakers, if not my favorite, working today. So I love the vast majority of these movies. So if your favorite PTA is in the bottom half of this list, don't think it's because I dislike that movie. I probably love it. It's just the fact that you gotta have something in the bottom half, even if I want it to be higher on that list. So with that said, let's get right into this ranking. Coming in at number 10 is Paul Thomas Anderson's debut feature, Hard 8. Despite being in last place, this is still a film that I get quite a lot of enjoyment out of. It's a very fun, very tense character piece with some very good performances across the board from Philip Baker Hall, John C. Reilly, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Samuel L. Jackson. The central mentor-mentee relationship that Hall and Riley's characters have is especially fun to follow, and like I said, get a lot of enjoyment out of. The reason for this coming in at last place, though, is just because I don't find any particular aspect of this film to be incredible like I do with literally all of his other films, so it just kind of has to come in last place by default. But like I said, it's still one that I like quite a lot. It is a very solid debut feature for PTA. Coming in at number 9 is Licorice Pizza. This was a movie that I loved quite a lot on first viewing, and there are still those aspects that I do love very much. The film has a very rich atmosphere and an absolutely gorgeous, colorful visual look to it, which I can just soak in for so long and just take it all in. The performances all across the board are very good, with Bradley Cooper's role being a huge standout. This might be one of my favorite performances of his career because it's such a small piece of the film, but he leaves such a massive impression on you. It's really wonderful stuff. Where this one falls a little bit short for me is I just don't find the central characters to be as complex or as interesting to follow as all the rest of the films on this list. The central romance, while I do love Cooper Hoffman and Alana Haim's performances, I don't really feel that compelled by that central romance, so it just ends up not feeling as memorable as the rest of the films above this one. It's still a very good film, one that I like a lot. It just doesn't stick with me like I would have wanted it to. Number 8 is Magnolia. Now, I know I'm gonna catch some shit for this placement, but like I said at the beginning of this video, if I place one of your favorites lower on this list, it's not because I dislike it. It's because I love the vast majority of these movies. This movie I loved, and something just has to go here at number 8, and Magnolia just has the unfortunate task of taking that spot. This is an incredibly well-paced film. For a 3-hour movie where it's just character drama, it's just constantly going. It feels like it reaches the climax like 3 separate times in the film before it finally calms down and gets so quiet and peaceful before that final big climactic sequence, which is just one of the best scenes in any of PTA's films. This film also has one of the greatest acting ensembles I've ever seen in a film. Everyone is just so pitch perfect in here. It really blows me away. Tom Cruise, in particular, he should have won that Oscar. I hate that he didn't. The reason why it comes in a little bit lower for me is I do recognize that it can be a little bit messy at times with how chaotic it is, with the fact that there's just always so much going on. It can get a little jumbled for me at least. And also, while every actor's performance is incredible, there are some characters that I just don't care quite as much about as others in the film. Like, I love everything with Frank T.J. Mackey, Cruz's character, his dad, and Phil Parma, the Philip Seymour Hoffman character. I love everything with them, and I love that romance between Officer Jim and Claudia as well. So, because I love these two groups so much, when it's going off and doing stuff with other characters, sometimes I'm like, let's get back to one of these two, just because I'm loving them so much. That's not a fault of the actors in the other stories. That's not even a fault of PTA's writing. That's just because I love them so much that I just want to spend more time with those characters. So like I said, Magnolia is a truly great film that I do love. Something just has to go here, and for me, that is Magnolia. Number 7, Inherent Vice. Now, I was originally going to put this film below Magnolia, but for whatever reason, it has just kept growing on me and sticking in my head since I saw it last week. It is certainly PTA at his loosest formally and least conventional, and I really vibed with that. It's just a very laid back time. This is also some of his funniest work in his career. There are multiple line deliveries and facial reactions in here that just got audible laughs out of me while I'm watching this alone in my living room. Joaquin Phoenix is perfectly cast as the stoner private detective who's trying to unravel this mystery as there's new twists at every turn. Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro are a lot of fun. I'm glad del Toro got to work with PTA again, and I hope to see Josh Brolin in another PTA film as well. I do think the central mystery can be a bit confusing to follow at times, which is why this ranks in the bottom half for me, but it has still been one that has been steadily growing on me as I sit with it. Number 6, Punch Drunk Love. I rewatched this one a little over a week ago, and I forgot just how anxiety-inducing this thing is. There is constantly shit being thrown at Sandler's character Barry Egan, and the score just amplifies that feeling even more with how bonkers it is. It's unlike anything I've ever heard of before. Adam Sandler is great here, excelling in, of course, all of the comedic bits, but also in all of the genuine emotional moments of the film. PTA's usage of color in this film is also just incredible. Some of the best usage of color I've ever seen in a film. The way the blues and reds and whites converge as Barry and Lena get closer together and their relationship starts to form is just beautiful. Number 5, Boogie Nights. While Hard 8 kicked off his career, Boogie Nights is where PTA really announced to the world, I have arrived. This is just such an incredibly ambitious film for someone his age. What was he, like 26 years old when he started making this film? That's just insane to me. You would think, looking at the technical craft of this thing, that this was a film made by a 20-year veteran in the industry. The characters of this film are all so enjoyable to watch. Dirk Diggler, played by Mark Wahlberg, is one of PTA's best lead characters and easily Mark Wahlberg's best performance of his career. Burt Reynolds as Jack Horner. Just such an interesting relationship between Jack and Dirk here. It's almost parental. It's really fascinating to watch. The rest of the supporting characters, Amber, Reed, Scotty, Buck, everyone else, they all add something fun and interesting to this film. It may be a bit on the long side for me, but it's just so undeniably enjoyable. It's such a thrill ride that I find myself admiring more and more each time I rewatch it. Number 4, The Master. For quite a while, I considered The Master to be my favorite of PTA's films, and The reason for this being number 4 now is not necessarily because I had a massive change of heart about this movie, it's just the fact that the 3 above it are also so damn incredible. The Master has one of the most interesting relationships between lead characters I've seen in film. Freddie Quell and Lancaster Dodd live their lives the exact opposite way, and to see how they both become attracted to what each other has is so fascinating to me. Like, Freddie is able to live his life so freely and carelessly, just wandering around in the world, but he admires that real human adoration that Lancaster Dodd gets among his followers. And Dodd, on the other hand, admires the fact that Freddie can live so freely and carelessly, and he wants that for himself as well. There's so much symbolism here to break down, namely with the ego, superego, and id, and I do just love breaking it down every time I rewatch it. Joaquin Phoenix delivers what I would consider his career best performance in here, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is equally as incredible, one of his career best as well. I guess the reason for this being in 4th place is because it begs to be analyzed in so many deeper levels. It can leave you feeling a little bit cold to these characters on the surface while watching it, but it's still an incredible film that really hypnotizes me every time I see it. Number 3, Phantom Thread. Now, just like Boogie Nights and honestly a lot of the other films on here, this is one that I just love more and more every time I rewatch it. It is just such a gorgeous movie. The central relationship between Reynolds and Alma is so complex. It's sick and visceral, yet really beautiful and vulnerable at the same time. The way that Alma kind of tries to take over the role of Reynolds' mother and take care of him so she can have him all to herself is really interesting to watch. Daniel Day-Lewis and Vicky Krieps play these characters so damn well. It's one of Daniel Day-Lewis's best performances of his career. Honestly, his top 2 might be PTA films. And Vicky Krieps matches him step for step all along the way. It's incredibly impressive. And despite that central relationship not being like an R-rated one on the screen, it's still one that delves a lot into like dominance and submission, which I just find really juicy to watch. This might be PTA's most beautifully shot film. It is just so exquisite. Some of the best shots of the century so far are in here. And Johnny Greenwood's score is also probably one of the best scores of the century. It's just so lush and beautiful. The instrumentation is just gorgeous. If I had one synonym, one adjective for this film, it would be gorgeous, because that's what this film is. Number 2 for me is PTA's newest film, One Battle After Another. Now, I was trying to give myself reasons to not put this film this high because it's so brand new. I didn't want it to feel like recency bias putting it at number 2. I was thinking about putting it number 3 or 4, but the more times I rewatch it, I've already watched it 4 times, and the more I think about it, the more I realize this is just so undeniably excellent and is absolutely one of PTA's best of his career. This film just has it all. It's got the genuine emotion where you feel so much for these characters. It has laugh out loud comedy all the way through, and it is so thrilling and action-packed at the same time. The performances across the board are excellent. Leo's giving one of his best, in my opinion. Sean Penn, probably his career best. And Chase Infinity, star-making performance. The rest of the cast, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, Teyana Taylor, all leave their impact in their small roles. PTA is just at the top of his game here as a director and as a storyteller. I'm not going to get super in-depth about all of the stuff he's tackling here because I did just post my review. So if you want to see a little bit more in-depth thoughts on One Battle After Another, go there. But yeah, this film is just an incredible ride to go on. I loved it, and in my opinion, it's the second best of PTA's career so far. And that means number one is the most basic answer you could come by: There Will Be Blood. This is a film where I don't really feel like I have to say anything about. You know why this is at number one. It's such a freaking amazing American epic, the likes of which are rarely seen these days. This film perfectly tackles American capitalism, and it doesn't do so in a favorable light, whether it's the greed of today's ultra-rich or the oil tycoons of the past. This film really shows how evil it all is. Daniel Day-Lewis's performance as Daniel Plainview is, as everybody knows, one of the great screen performances there has ever been. Paul Dano holds his own against Daniel Day-Lewis here. His work is really impressive as Eli, and it's really funny that two of PTA's best movies are my two favorite Daniel Day-Lewis performances, and alongside him in both movies are people that are almost just as equally incredible as he is. As I mentioned, I don't really need to say anything more about There Will Be Blood. Enough has been said about it by so many people. I'm not going to add anything new to the commentary around this film. It is just one of the great American films, one of the great films in general of the 21st century. That is it for my PTA ranking, everybody. Y'all let me know in the comments your thoughts on my ranking, if I'm wrong, if I'm right. You let me know your ranking of his films, even if you've only seen a few. Let me know how you would rank them. And I would just like to mention one thing here before I let you go. I know before my One Battle After Another review, I had not posted in a couple months, so thank you for sticking with me. I've gotten through some personal things, and I am excited to really fully be back to posting, and I cannot wait to review some more movies, do some more Oscar predictions with you all. If you enjoyed this ranking, please like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.